bang. Bang, 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 boom. NGM. What a J-Rap. Oh, do this. NGM. J-Rap on the beat. Bitch, we got them problems they ain't tryna solve. Nah. NGM, we here. We ain't scared at all. Bitch, we bred it. Too bad for y'all. Every other day, man, we in the mall. Buying truths. Buying truths. Everything that we get is by truth. This ain't nothing new. Nah. Everything is true. Truths to my head, to my motherfucking shoes. Truths on my socks. Digga try to box. Bang bang, bang bang. We gon' clear the parking lot. NGM, we in this bitch. J-Rag on the beat. Shout out Fat D and my niggas ZAE. Everybody know that we swag to the max. Truths all over. What you know about that? Bye. Bitch, we got them problems they ain't tryna solve. Nah. NGM, we here. We ain't scared at all. Bitch, we bred it. Too bad for y'all. Every other day, man, we in the mall. Buying truths. Buying truths. Everything that we get is by truths.
In the mall, popping tags, smelling like kush, they know we on. Galleria, my location, I'm in the TrueReligion store. Buying everything I want, my money no limit, like Master P. I'm TrueReligion down from my eye patch to my feet. Horseshoes on me, like I'm playing for the coach. Spending money faster than the 40 of you, same boat. Oh, you in love with that bitch? Well, I'm in love with a bread. She only giving you hugs, I'm getting TrueReligion in head. I'm hard on the hoe, I spend my money in hers. I don't give a fuck what you talking, lil' nigga, I earn this shit. I'm TrueReligion down, nigga suck my dick. NASA gang in this bitch and we ain't taking no shit, nigga.
Bitch, we got them problems they ain't tryna solve. NGM, we here, we ain't scared at all. Bitch, we bred it. Too bad for y'all. Every other day, man, we in the mall. Buying truths. Buying truths. Everything that we get is by truths.
Big niggas stay fly.